Today we're going to be installing an M4 GTS BMW OEM exhaust on my F80 M3. Hey, this is Brian. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. As you may notice behind me, the power is out. Not only the power, but the internet and everything that goes with that, because we're in the middle of a pretty bad storm. We're kind of like in the eye of the storm, so we're trying to film a video really quick. And even though it's dark in our shop, we are not going to go without filming today. So we thought we would take this opportunity. You may have noticed that we had a couple exhausts on the wall. One of those exhausts was a BMW OEM M4 GTS exhaust. And today we're going to install it on my F80 M3. So you may be thinking, how did you acquire an M4 GTS exhaust? Well, as you may remember from, I guess, last year or so, we had a customer bring his car in with an M4 GTS with 12 miles on it, and he had us do all kinds of work. And one of the things that we did was an Akrapovic exhaust. And after we did the exhaust, we went to give him his old one back, and he said, it's yours if you'd like to keep it. So he was extremely generous and actually gave us this. These are very difficult to come across, and especially in this great a condition with only 12 miles on it. So he doesn't really want to be announced, but thank you. You know who you are, and we appreciate what you've done for us. And so anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start my car up. This is just the factory exhaust that comes on the car. We're going to give you a cold start. We're going to give you a couple revs. And then what I'm going to do, it's going to be really difficult with no power. I mean, we have some lights that we're going to try to use. So we're not going to do full DIY, but we are going to just swap out the exhaust. This is going to be more for like a before and after sound difference, because the M4 GTS is very distinctive compared to a stock one. So with that, let's start the car. You get to hear the cold start. We'll give some light revs. We'll let it warm up, and then we're going to rev it a lot, and then we'll let you see how it sounds before and after. This is a cold start on my 2016 bone stock, except for boot mode, F80 M3. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to let the car warm up, and then I'm going to give you 5 revs with the valves closed as they are right now, and then we're going to repeat the test with the valves open. And then we're going to take the exhaust, we're going to put it side by side. We'll show you a comparison of OEM F80 M3 and OEM M4 GTS, which is going to be an amazing difference. And then we're going to do the exact same rev test with the GTS exhaust. All right, the car is warmed up and ready for some revving. So as you just heard, the first set of 5 revs were with the car with the valves closed, and then we did 5 more revs with the valves open, just to give you that comparison. And then we'll reference that later in the video when we compare it with the OEM M4 GTS exhaust. So now I'm going to slide into the car. We're not really going to do a DIY just because, well, it's really dark and we don't have any power. But we will do a DIY for you one day when we can do it on a lift. You can actually see what we're actually doing. But we're just removing the entire system, so it's probably the easiest way to do it anyway. There's no cutting or anything for today. So with that, Zach and I are going to pull up the exhaust, and we'll lay it side by side. Hi! Is it recording?
Yeah.
It's so funny. We have no power. We have no internet. We have hardly any lights. We're changing out the exhaust. Anyway, I'm gonna go under here and I'm gonna start loosening things up, and then Zach's gonna help me pull it the rest of the way down. So, when you're doing this, I think I have them here with me. Not sure where I put them. You always want to make sure that you replace the gaskets every single time. So even if we were to change out our exhaust 5 different times, we would change out the gaskets 5 times as well. Otherwise you'll get exhaust leaks. All right, so I'm
Now that's off, this is off. I'm gonna start to scoot down to this brace. Oops, I kicked our lightsaber. Sorry.
Okay, so on your right, you can see my factory BMW OEM exhaust, and then on the left, as you have seen 20 times by now, this is the GTS exhaust. So the first thing you'll notice is that the muffler shape and design is different. This looks like that it would be an M Performance exhaust, but it's not. It's actually made for the GTS. One of the most notable things is the M Performance, and also these have tips that are removable. With the GTS exhaust, they're welded on and they have an M etched into them. So looks pretty cool. They're also very thin. So a lot of the other tips are pretty thick, very thin walled, which is pretty cool. Next, what I think gives it a very distinct sound is as you're looking at the two, you will notice that my factory one has a resonator and the OEM GTS just has this little H pipe. While my magnet's getting stuck to stuff, let's talk about what it's made of. So my factory one is made of stainless steel. I'm not really sure if this has any titanium in it. It definitely has some stainless steel because it keeps getting stuck in certain areas. But the majority of it is just stainless, where if you go over to the GTS, the mid pipe is stainless, but this is completely titanium. Even over here and over here. So that is definitely going to help you save some weight. So when we go to put it back in, it's going to be a little bit lighter. And it's also, because it's deleting our resonator here and has a little bit different shape, it's going to give it a completely different sound, and it's going to be a little bit louder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the exhaust hangers and I'm going to start to transfer them over, and then I have two valves that I need to transfer. At this point, we have everything transferred over to the GTS exhaust, which is getting ready to go on the car. We have our new gaskets, and this time, let's install it. All right, the GTS exhaust is installed. The car's been sitting for well over an hour, just as we had to take care of some other things in between exhausts here. And I'm gonna start the car up. So you're gonna get a true cold start, and then we're going to do, once it warms up, we're gonna do 5 revs with the valves closed. And then what I can't wait for is 5 revs with the valves open. Let's get started. So as you just heard and you can see, this exhaust not only looks great with these specialized tips that were made for the GTS, but it sounds incredible. Now I will be honest, I've had this car, so it's August now. I've had this car since last August. So I've had it for 12 months. And we did the GTS work several months before, and I've had the exhaust since then. And just looking at it on the wall, it's like, yeah, it looks a little different, but it doesn't really sound all that much different. So that's why I never jumped to put it on the car. But after putting it on, it is complete night and day from my OEM exhaust. I can't believe how just deleting the resonator and then the redesign of the muffler section just dramatically enhances how this thing sounds. Now, we would take you out and do some driving shots, but we're gonna have to save that for another day because what we didn't really tell you earlier is we're about 30 minutes from the shore and a hurricane rolled through, and that's why we don't have power. So we had these torrential downpours. Zach and I had to help some random guy in the street because wood fell off his truck while he was driving through a 14-inch puddle. And yeah, it's just been kind of a crazy day, and there's just trees down. Over this way, there's this tree that's literally blocking half the road. Power lines are down. It's just a complete mess out there. So the F80 is just gonna stay in here for now in an effort to try to keep it safe. But anyway, we will give you driving shots. We'll do that another day where we actually have power and the world isn't falling apart. But anyway, my name is Brian. That's Zach behind the camera. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you when the power's on.